Hello everyone, my name is Sutton the Wolf and welcome back to Memories Dogma Code 1. I apologize that I couldn't get an episode of this out last week. As I explained on the video that Monday, I had issues securing the recording space for those episodes, and so I couldn't put out 3 of the week's videos. Unfortunately, this was one of them. However, I am back this week with Memories Dogma Code 1. We last left off with, we had another fight with the Sigma, the guy with the blade arm, and I wasn't a big fan of that fight scene. I liked what happened before and after it, but I didn't really like what happened during that fight scene. But we escaped him, and we are hiding out here, and we have a plan to defeat him somehow. Now then, where did you go? Shh. Arena cuts me off. As I fall silent, I hear the faint noise of shoes scraping across the ground. Looks like he's back. He seems to have realized we didn't leave yet. He's sharp. His footsteps get closer. One step, then another, then another. Eventually his feet stop, right in front of the soup store. Silence blankets the station once more. What's he doing? Suddenly a thunderous roar that shakes me to my very bones. I barely manage to keep myself from crying out in surprise. The noise doesn't stop. He's smashing the glass wall apart. The uneven rhythm of his blade slicing into the glass screeches in my ears. I grip my teeth and bear it. Reina, too, knits her eyebrows and doesn't make a sound. He hits the wall over and over again, and each time the glass looks like it's about to give way completely. He must know we're hiding in here by now. He has to know, and now he's just having fun tormenting us while we hide. He was like this before, too. When he opened his arms, it dared me to attack him. Sigma wants us to fight back, so he can thoroughly defeat us before he kills us. When I realize that, my anger starts to bubble up.
Hiroki?
Hiroki? I feel the prickling sensation of electricity running through my stomach. Oh, are we gonna go Super Saiyan again? My blood starts boiling. Our lives are worth even less than dirt to Sigma. You fucking bastard. Wow, alright. I feel power start to build up in my arm. My whole field of vision begins to go red. Jeez, that caught me off guard. Dana, I'm gonna break the glass. Huh? I stand and pick up a chair and throw it at the glass wall with all my might. With a deafening crash, the glass shatters and flies everywhere. Naughty! Jeez. Sigma yells in surprise. Riding this sudden new wave of energy, I jump out of the hole I made in the wall. Oh, shit. Look at this art. Look at this that we got going on right here. That's pretty sweet. It's kind of monotone, but I like it. Sigma's right outside the soup store. His sharp gaze pierces through me. He must have sliced apart the chair as it flew out. There's splinters of wood all around his feet. So you didn't run away after all. Who'd run away from you? You've got guts, I'll give you that. But if you're here, then you've got something up your sleeve, right? Sigma declares confidently, certainly that he's seen through us. The edge of his lips curve upwards into a sneer. Even he's not stupid enough to think we didn't strategize at all at the time we bought. I stare straight at Sigma and yell loudly. Arena, run! There's no music. It's kind of a problem. With this kind of scene, this sounds intense, so I would hope that there was music. It's kind of creating multiple different, it feels incoherent. With my words as the signal, Arena leaps out of the hole I made in the glass wall. She starts running down the hallway towards the entrance of the station. Hey, that girl. Sigma moves to try and attack her, but I spread both my hands out to stop him. Leave her alone. I'm your opponent here. Very well, I see you finally found your courage. Sigma returns his gaze to me. That's the ticket. Keep your eyes on me. I'll finally be able to see you get serious now. Sigma says condescendingly. Try to encourage my scared self, I utter a retort. Only if you prove you're good enough to deserve it. Didn't think you'd still be calm enough to crack jokes. Now then, show me your true power. There's the music. I just couldn't really get into it before that, you know? Sigma kicks off the ground and charges at me. The force of his leap is so strong, dust clouds twirl in his wake. Ooh, this is a new music track too, I like it. Sounds like someone just shot a bullet. The distance between us is around 4 meters, but it might as well be nothing for how fast Sigma closes in. An instant later, Sigma's right arm comes into my field of view. I swiftly backstep and just barely avoid his swing. It's not over yet! He must have read my reaction. Sigma quickly attacks again. Sigma-la. Dang it, that's a terrible time for a typo, guys. Sigma leaps forward again, closing the gap I'd created with my backstep. He pulls his arm back and slashes down diagonally this time. His wide swing is easily able to reach out all the way towards me. However, the moment my feet hit the ground, I take an even bigger backstep. Sigma's heavy slash only grazes my nose. Still just running away! What a coward! Sigma spits out, not bothering to hide his disdain. The music seems like it's a little bit loud. I could probably fix that, though, in the configurations. I regain my balance and carefully continue to back away. That tingling feeling of electricity flowing in the pit of my stomach never stopped. This is it. This feeling that means my power is working. I can see Sigma's movements a little bit better now. If all you're going to do is run, then... Sigma mutters softly. The next instant, Sigma's body starts to sway a little, and then he disappears into the darkness. He did it again. He's coming! Die, you bastard! His voice leaps out from behind me. He got around me. Chills run down my spine. I drop to the ground as fast as possible. His blade swings horizontally through the spot I was in a moment ago, the slash so powerful it cuts the air itself. He clicks his tongue. He only managed to cut a few of my hairs. I don't even have the time to be terrified at how close to death I was. I need to put some distance between us again. Still on the ground, I tumble forward to try and escape from Sigma. Stop fooling around! He swings his blade down at me as he yells. Oh, did he actually hit me? His arm grazes my left leg. Even though it only grazed it, it still cut pretty deep. Blood pours down my leg. I let out an involuntary groan at the pain. What is that? Sigma seems to be even angrier at me seeing me in such a pathetic state. What is going on here? Come on! Stand up! Don't tell me that's all you've got! Shut up! Holding my left leg, I stand up. Then dragging my left leg along, I head towards the station exit. You're just gonna try and run again, huh? He mutters softly and disappears again. I speed up and manage to at least make it outside the station building. Surely this is all part of the plan, right? However, Sigma's standing outside waiting for me. When did you manage to... You just don't learn, do you? Sigma's blocking the path out of the station. I quickly glance around to assess my situation. There has to be somewhere I can run to. There! Get serious! Show me your real power! And then die! I can't really seem to, like, get into it unless I'm doing that voice, so... Like, the Sigma voice is hard to do, because, like, I'm not angry, but I have to sound angry. Sigma dashes forward and raises his right arm blade. He kicks up clouds of dust again, which glint sharply in the moonlight, contrasting against the dark of the night. You fucking... It's okay. I can still see his movements. I match my timing to the part of his swing and jump back with all my might. I manage to dodge, but because my left leg is injured, I lose my balance, and I make it. It looks like his blade is, like, broken, doesn't it? His, like, blade arm? My foot catches on the slight elevation difference between my landing point and the space directly behind me, and I stagger backwards. The place I land is the event stage in the station plaza. I plant both feet firmly on what remains of the stage. I have you cornered this time! Sigma's impatience is clearly visible as he vanishes into the shadows again. I mustered every last drop of my strength to run all the way here to the event stage. Sigma appears again from the shadows right away, standing right in front of me, just as I planned. I had a feeling this was planned. He's standing right in the center of the event stage. Shit. What a shame. I thought I'd be able to have some more fun fighting against you, but it seems I overestimated you. His previous anger gone, he now just shrugged his shoulders sadly. However, he still raises his blade. You really pissed me off, you know that? I expected a lot more from you. So at the very least, let me enjoy watching you suffer as you die. What is going on with my screen here? Like, surely this is supposed to happen, right? Sigma's cruel smile is clearly visible, even in the dim moonlight. Is this supposed to be, like, showing that... Is this supposed to be happening with the screen? Like, I'm concerned. As Sigma raises his blade up high. What the fuck? That was... I'm sorry, but the voice acting there. Oh, that was such a weird scream. The hell? Okay, seriously, what is going on here with this screen? Is this supposed to happen? I shout as loudly as I can. Okay, surely this is not... It's only in the game. I've got the game in windowed mode right now, and it's not... It's only the game that's doing that. What is going on? Okay, going to full screen doesn't fix it. It's weird. Sigma's suddenly enveloped in a blinding white light. Or did it fix it? That's weird. What? All of the stage's lights turn on all at once, all of them pointed at Sigma. The light's so blinding it feels as if you could wipe the very existence of darkness out of the world. The entire stage is bathed in this blindingly white light, dazzling, sparkling, and vibrant, exposing all that hides within the shadows. Now Hideki! Ada shouts from far away, holding one of the spotlights. I charge Sigma. With a cut leg. Oh shit. Look at this. They're getting some art for this game. I like it. I rammed full force into him, and we both tumbled to the ground. With his eyes accustomed to the darkness, being hit by that much light at once must have blinded him completely. Sigma's too busy protecting his eyes with his arms to realize what I'm doing. Shit. You. Try your disappearing act now, Sigma. However, Sigma remains visible in the light. After knocking Sigma to the ground, I straddle him. I pin his right arm blade down on my left leg, and his left shoulder with my right hand. Put my whole weight into it. You bastard! You like it! I told you I'd show you my real power if you proved you were worth it. My leg is already healed thanks to my power. I take the knife I grabbed back in the suit storage out of my jeans pocket. I put the edge of it against Sigma's throat. Where is Aoi-san? Tell me! I turn all the pain I had to suffer at his hands into strength and hold him down. Sigma actually looks like he's suffering for once. I see. So from the start, your goal was never... That's right. Everything was just to lure you here. You can't even vanish in the light, can you? Vayne had deduced that Sigma's power might have something to do with shadows. We've run into Sigma 2 times before. Of those 2 times, one was in a bright location, the other in a dark one. The only time Sigma was able to appear and disappear at all, or at will, was from the shadows of somewhere dark. So if we were able to remove the source of his power, the shadows, then we'd be able to restrain him. That was what Reina deduced. That was why I drew Sigma's attention and tried to buy time. Reina, meanwhile, was setting up the lights on the event stage to give us the opening we'd need to take Sigma down. So I avoided using more power than necessary, and lured Sigma over to the event stage while avoiding taking a fatal blow. Having finally understood the reason behind my actions, Sigma lets out a small sigh. So you were one step ahead of me the whole time. Hurry up and finish me off. All we want is to know where Aoi-san is. There's no reason to kill you. We'll hand you to the police and they can decide what to do with you. From the start, Reina and I agreed that our goal wasn't to kill Sigma. After all, we have to drag Aoi-san's location out of him. Where is Aoi-san? You'll find out soon enough. Just hurry up and kill me already. Didn't I just tell you I'm not going to kill you? You're being naive, boy. Sigma's expression changes suddenly, confusing me. Why is he staring at me so calmly? That kind of naive that will be your downfall. Is he gonna explode or something? You're this spineless, you don't have a chance in hell at stopping the storm to come. Think carefully, boy. If you don't man up now, the things won't end the way you want them to. After all, we're the same, you and I. Is that a gunshot? With a strange noise, Sigma's words stop there. Huh? For a second, I don't realize what's happened. But as I continue staring at Sigma's face, I notice it. There's a small hole in the center of his forehead. There's blood coming out of the back of his head. Did he just get shot and killed? Sigma's eyes are staring up blankly, seeing nothing. I cannot bring myself to avert my gaze from him. What happened? Hiroki! Just now, something? Reina calls out to me as she runs up, and I'm finally able to tear my eyes away from him. When I look over at her, I see Reina's hands are tightly clasped together. She must be shaken too. Her hands are trembling. I try to stand between Reina and Sigma's corpse so that she can't get a good look at it, but I'm unable to hide it completely. When she sees Sigma, Reina tightly grabs onto my sleeve. Who would do such a thing? Who would do such a thing? It's obvious, isn't it? Even though she asked, Reina probably knew. Who is it? I noticed someone on the staircase leading towards the bridge. The person who finished off Sigma is standing right over there. They're slowly coming towards us. I have a feeling I know who this is. As she slowly walked onto the stage, the lighting illuminates her features. Yep. Aoi. Aoi-san is standing there, a short distance away. Aoi! Aoi-san, thank goodness! Sutton was worried about you. Oh god, I really hope she doesn't turn out to be a bad guy. Aoi, where were you? We thought for sure that... Yep, she's a bad guy. That's bad. Aoi slowly raises her right hand. When I see what it's holding, I gasp. It's a pistol. The muzzle glints dully in the light coming off the stage. I can feel the strength leaving my legs. I must have used up more of my power in that fight with Sigma than I'd thought. I try to brace my legs, but I'm unable to remain standing for long. Aoi-san, why are you holding... My knees sink to the cold ground as I stare at the gun in Aoi-san's hand. Was Aoi-san the one who shot Sigma just now? Wait. So was it... So did Aoi-san... Was she a bad person from the beginning and she sent that picture of herself to lure us here, and by extension lure Sigma here? Because Sigma felt like Sigma didn't know about what was happening. No, wait, the person who shot Sigma in the forehead must have been standing behind us. But Aoi-san appeared from the front of us. Besides, there's no way you could aim between the eyes so perfectly like that from a long distance with a pistol. While my thoughts are swirling around in my head, Aoi-san still doesn't say a word. Please say something, Aoi-san. Suddenly, I feel a sharp pain in the back of my head. When I turn back, I see some men in black suits. One of them has something pressed to the back of my neck. Oh, Jesus, did I just get tased? I feel a sharp pain run through my whole body. It was a stun gun. By the time I realize that, though, I've already fallen to the ground. As I thought, he must be the one. I hear Dana shout my name. Pain surges through my stomach, then my head, and the rest of me as he continues pummeling me. The men silently continue to beat me up. My consciousness gradually starts to fade. Aoi-san, why? But even that question fades away with my consciousness. What the fuck? What the hell? What? The fuck was that? The irregular vibrations I keep feeling on my back eventually jerk me back to consciousness. What the fuck? When I open my eyes, I see a sterile ceiling illuminated by a ghastly light. It looks like the ceiling is steadily sliding backwards. Oh, I'm on like a stretcher, or like a cart. While watching the ceiling fly by, my consciousness slowly starts to become clearer. The strange feeling on the back of my head eventually grows stronger. Oh yeah, I was hit there. What happened after that? Since all I can see is the dimly lit ceiling, illuminated by green light, I have no way of telling what time it is. Hell, I don't even know where I am. I've been hearing the sounds of footsteps and wheels rolling across the ground ever since I woke up. I try to look around to find the source of the noise and discover that I can't move my body from the neck down. What is this? Whoa, what the fuck? I move my head around to see what I can, and I notice a couple of men in white lab coats walking beside me. They've all got their hands out, grabbing something close to me, and are all silently just looking in the direction we're headed. It's like I'm in a hospital being rolled somewhere on a stretcher by these men. Now I understand what that vibration I'm feeling is. It's not that the ceiling's moving, I'm the one that's being moved. Past the men are a number of doors going on endlessly along the hallway. The ceiling and layouts of the doors are giving me a sense of deja vu. Wait, this is the Connect Center. Oh god, Aoi didn't work for the Connect Center, did she? My mind goes back to the first time I came here, when I came to visit Sutton. Those blinking lights that used to illuminate the hallway like stars are gone, replaced by a ghastly green light that leaves much of the hallway shrouded in darkness. My body starts to tremble. I try to move my arm again, but it's still pinned down. I lift my neck up a little to see that my arms, wrists, ankles, and torso are all strapped down by black belts. My freedom of movement has been completely restricted. Where are you taking me? The men don't even glance my way and continue silently rolling the stretcher along. My voice comes out hoarse and raspy. Even then, I try and shout as loudly as possible. Answer me! But no one as much as blinks. My voice echoes down the hallway, eventually fading and leaving only the noise of footsteps and wheels remaining. Damn it. I try and remember what happened before I passed out. Was that really Aoi-san I saw holding a gun with trembling hands? No, there's no mistaking that it was her, but I still can't believe this is all real. Where's Reina? Did she manage to run away while they were busy with me? Or did she also... Where's Reina? Man in a white lab coat. As usual, I don't respond. Eventually, the stretcher I'm on finally stops. But when I look over, I see that we've stopped before a huge door. The two guys in front open the door. It lets out a heavy, deep creaking noise as it opens. The opening looks like the gaping maw of a terrible monster, or a portal to another world. Once the door opens fully, the stretcher starts moving again. Past the doorway, from the looks of it, is some kind of laboratory. The large light fixture in the center of the ceiling makes it look more like a hospital room than a lab, though. There's nothing directly beneath the light except for the cold, hard floor. Well, I guess I should say nothing directly beneath it right now. Traces of red liquid stain the floor, as if marking the entrance to some bottomless swamp. And then... Whoa. The men roll my stretcher there, directly underneath the light. There's a massive metal ventilator in the corner of the room. The ventilator is giving off a metallic whir, and I can feel air flowing from it. The men in white lab coats who brought me here all gather around me and stare at me emotionlessly. Did they take Reina to a room like this too? Where's Reina? Their expressions don't change and their mouths remain shut. I feel an indescribable sense of dread and ask again, louder this time. Answer me, you bastards! What did you do to Reina? Kusuhara-kun. Please, calm down. I recognize that voice. It's the voice I heard while on my way to see Sutton in the Connect Center. I've seen this face before too on the news answering the press's questions. Oh, it's this guy. Kuroda Renjuro. The contraption I'm strapped down on starts to raise itself up and puts my upper body into a sitting position. There's a huge AR display with Kuroda on it right in front of me. You're Kuroda, aren't you? He's sitting on an armchair with his legs crossed, a faint smile on his face. We finally meet, Kusuhara Hiroki-kun. I did say that I'd find you no matter where you hide, right? I'm glad to have the chance to finally talk to you face to face. Face to face? An AR display counts as face to face now? I can see you perfectly fine from here, so yes, it does. Kuroda uncrosses his legs and leans forward. Unable to hide his glee, the corners of his lips curl upwards slightly. He's examining me like you would a prize. That glint in his eyes is the one he had when he told the news to capture me. So this is what the man known as Kuroda is really like. What did you do with Reina? I thought I told you to calm down. Don't be in such a rush. You'll get to see Orikasa-kun soon enough. So that means Kuroda managed to capture her too. He said he'd let me see her, but that doesn't mean she's still alive. He didn't say you'll get to see her alive, after all. Don't tell me Reina's already dead. The mere thought chills me to the bone. If you've done anything to hurt Reina, I swear I'll kill you. Trying to shake off my unease, I threaten Kuroda. Depending on how he answers, I might be able to go glean some information on whether or not Reina's safe. However, Kuroda doesn't seem fazed by my threat at all. I like your guts, kid. It'd be disappointing if you weren't at least this tough. Kuroda leans back in his chair and smiles as he crosses his legs once more. I get even more pissed seeing how smug he looks right now. If I could just get these belts off. Are they tasing me again? Oh no. I desperately struggle against my restraints, but they don't budge an inch. I try and clearly imagine the sensation of power gathering within my body. If I can just use my power, then... However, no matter how hard I struggle, I can't even bring forth an ounce of that power. The stretcher thing that I'm on just rattles loudly as it shakes. Well, that didn't work. Kuroda looks... Whew, excuse me. It's kind of late. I gotta end this episode soon. Kuroda looks at me pityingly through the AR display. Don't look so worried. You are under our protection, while also being under our control. Protection? How is this protection? You just trapped me here. Cut him off, my bad. In some sense, we had you trapped here this whole time. What does that mean? Use that head of yours and think about it for a second, Kusuhara-kun. Kuroda closes his eyes for a moment, looking amazed that I actually haven't figured it out yet. I know he's just trying to provoke me, but every single thing that bastard does irks me to no end. You and Orikasa-kun seem to believe that you managed to escape from us that day you tried to steal Mizunashi Sorano-kun's memory data. However... Did you really think escaping from a facility that is such top-class security would be that easy? Did you really think you could elude the professional security service that was tracking you down? Why do you think you guys were able to make it out alive after meeting it in the aftermath of the Fuchu station explosion? And why do you think we didn't just shoot you both as well, back when we raided Sorano-kun's house? At Kuroda's words, something finally clicks in my head. All these disparate phenomena start connecting themselves in my mind, leading me to a single conclusion. My whole body starts to tremble and my heart starts to beat faster. Seeing me finally connect the dots, Kuroda smiles smugly again. That's right, we've been monitoring you this whole time. Ever since you tried to steal Sorano-kun's memory data from the Connect Center. How? Question mark? Your friend. Let's see, I believe his name is Amamiya-kun. Yes, that's it. When you and Amamiya-kun escaped from that meeting room, we expected we'd apprehend you soon enough. But when you unexpectedly met up with Orikasa-kun. That was pretty interesting development. Back then, the only person we were monitoring was Orikasa-kun. The reason we let it loose in Fuchu Station was to force her to use that microchip on herself. So they were after Elena the entire time. That's why it killed you right away. We wanted to drive Orikasa-kun into a corner. I recall the events of that night. Back then, Sigma tried to kill me without any hesitation. The sensation of his blade piercing my stomach is still fresh in my mind. The taste of blood filling my mouth. And then my consciousness growing dim. But man, that was unbelievable. I can't believe she used that microchip on you instead. Can you believe it? Even in a situation like that, she used the microchip on someone else to confirm its effects. Are they gonna try and make Reina sound like a bad guy? Even I was impressed by her dedication to science. I suppose I should say as expected of Toya-kun's disciple. I don't like this asshole. Shut the hell up! Reina didn't inject me with that microchip for some kind of science experiment. Kuroda's face suddenly goes blank, and he asks in a low voice, "How can you be so sure?" "Because I know there's no way that..." "Can you read people's minds? Are you telling me you read Orikasa-kun's mind the instant she injected you with that microchip?" It's true that I never asked Dana what she was thinking back then when she put that chip in me. Whew, just gotta chill. But even then, it's true that I can't read people's minds. Well, precisely because I can't read them, I can believe in them. Sutton chose to believe in me, and so I'll choose to believe Reina. After hearing my reply, Kuroda seems to lose interest in the topic. I see. Well, you're free to believe whatever you want. At any rate, thanks to the microchip Orikasa-kun gave you, you were able to exhibit some special powers. You can call forth an explosive amount of strength for short bursts of time, and your rate of recovery from injury is insanely fast. I'm very curious to see just what are the limitations of your power, and what are the conditions required to activate it. So I began to monitor you as well. So that death match with Sigma was your idea too? Ah, crap, I keep cutting off. Yep, it was a bit too flashy, but at least it remembered its job. It? They're really calling Sigma it? It fought you carefully, trying to draw out your full power. Though in the end it lost control and tried to kill you. Even that fight I put my life on the line for was all orchestrated by Kuroda. And this man is the kind of scum who would call his own ally it and treat him like a pawn. I grit my teeth. Anyway, Orikasa-kun would never agree to testing a microchip on a human subject. And then on top of that, she tried to take it and run. And while we were trying to figure out how to force Dana to use that microchip on a person, you showed up. Honestly speaking, I was pretty excited. You were able to overcome every trial we threw at you, and every time we cornered you, you surpassed your limits and overcame us. I really don't like this guy. Thanks to you and Orikasa-kun, we were able to obtain a lot of precious research data. It took a while to actually figure out what I wanted this guy's voice to be. Sigma's dead now, isn't he? Jesus, I guess I'm not gonna have to do that voice anymore. Good, it was kind of rough on my throat. However, we needed to clean up your environment a little bit. Your little friend, I believe his name was Amamiya-kun. He did some very naughty things. So shooting him was part of your orders. Thanks to that, we were able to obtain some very interesting data. So the fact that Kakeru was shot and gravely injured wasn't a coincidence either. Everything was planned by the man sitting in front of me. Damn it! My anger causes my blood to start boiling. I let my anger take control and struggle again with all my might. I struggle against my restraints with all my might. If I can get them to loosen just a bit, if I can get even one of them to snap. However, even that faint hope is crushed. Eventually, I expend all my energy and stop struggling. I examined the belts holding me down again, not a single one having budged. Why? Why won't my power come out? I can't use it now when I need it most. What's the point of having it at all? Why won't it? The reason we were able to escape our pursuers, the reason we were able to beat Sigma, was all because Adena, Kakadu, and everyone else racked their brains and worked together to find a solution. Or at least that's what I believed until just now. No, Kusahara-kun. Don't be so depressed. We call people like you who possess special powers manifestors. And we treat our manifestors very well indeed. Don't worry, we won't do anything to harm you. What? You hurt my friends, tie me up here like this, and you expect me to believe you'll treat me with great care? Now, don't be so hasty. Let me finish first. Why, if you choose to cooperate us, we'll release you on the spot. Who would believe such an obvious lie? I feel like an idiot for even retorting such a stupid comment. After your experiences these past few days, you too must realize that people born with abilities out of the norm don't have an easy life. Kurita erases all feeling from his expression. For example, while I doubt you have experience raising a child, but you should know as children grow, there are a number of standards that they are expected to follow. If they deviate from that norm, their tendencies and traits are labeled as harmful and forcibly suppressed. Their tendencies are forcibly corrected to be more normal under the guise of rehabilitation. Since the child themselves is suffering, isn't it much better to correct their behavior than to let them live an easier life? Or so the child's parents and adults around them say. However, is that really the case? Aren't they just saying that to make it easier to deal with the kid? While saying pretty words like everyone is unique, they never have any intention of actually fostering those unique traits in people. Sky... He's making a valid point, but... And then oftentimes those parents selfishly make their children suffer when they fail to correct their children's tendencies. And that's the end of it all. Some people end up committing suicide because of that. The fact that something like that happens at all is utterly ridiculous. It's only as he mutters those last words that Kurita's expression changes to one of deep sadness. However, that expression vanishes in an instant later, replaced by his usual mocking smile. That's what happens to people... it's a typo. That's what happens when people deviate from... To people that deviate from the norm just slightly. What do you think will happen to you, someone who's far surpassed normal human limits? There's already a lot of innocent people you got mixed up in your problems who ended up getting hurt as a result. Am I wrong? It's because you're the one who hurt them! Kurita smiles a little. Does it really matter in the end? From the moment you became a manifester, even if I didn't do anything, you'd eventually find yourself discriminated and persecuted by those around you. I'm not so sure about that. What makes you so sure? Jeez, I'm really tired. I'm not yawning because I'm bored, I'm yawning because I'm tired. Because they cannot understand you. Human beings fear that which they cannot understand. That's pretty true. They cannot understand. When you first used your power, were your friends still accepting of you? I think back to the first time I fought against Sigma. What was Adena's expression like right after I defeated him? Hiroki. I hear Adena's voice from right behind me and I turn around. For some reason, she's looking at me in fear. So that was what that fear had been. The fear of the unknown. What about your precious girlfriend, Sutton-kun? Was she able to have a perfect life? Did she not have to hide anything at all from you? A lot of flashbacks happening right now. Sorano-san paid special attention to make sure no one would know of her power. Honestly, I never wanted to say it. Sodano was afraid to get close to people and suffered as a result of it. Even on the day of her death, she didn't tell me about her power. Seeing how I'm unable to reply, Kurita nods sympathetically. It's true that we directed your actions to gain research data, but more importantly, I wanted you to truly understand. Understand what? How do I put this? The suffering of those who have power, and the pain and sadness that comes from being discriminated against by those you thought were your friends. Kurita raises his voice at the end and tightly grips his hands together. Kurita had been calm this whole time, but now there's a fire in his voice. You get discriminated against just because of a small difference in which genes aren't expressed. A tiny difference that describes whether you're a manifestor or not. That's all it takes for people to avert their gazes from you, to look at you in terror while you walk outside. You can't even share this pain with those close to you. I'm not sure if Kurita realizes it or not, but his hands are trembling now. Why? We're still humans, so why do we have to suffer so? Oh, is he a manifestor too? Do you have an answer for me? Well? Kurita's words are filled with a deep, intense hatred. Though, where that hatred is directed, I can't tell. His hatred is so thick, it's dripping from his every word. I can tell a deep darkness has been festering with him even through the AR display. I don't have an answer for Kurita. Kurita sits there silently, his shoulders heaving. After he finally regains his composure, he continues. You still don't have an answer, do you? But now you understand. Everything you've experienced thus far, that is the only truth there is. Manifestors in today's society are persecuted, oppressed, and driven into the depths of despair. For an instant, Kurita's sorrowful expression returns. Don't you think there's something wrong with a society like that? You see, I just want to create a society where manifestors like you can live freely. Kurita's expression is almost terrifyingly kind now. In order to do that, I first had to make it to the top and rule over current society. Rule it? Oh, please don't misunderstand. I don't mean rule as in using people's powers of force or fear to control people. Force and terror are outdated methods of control that don't last very long. Even someone as young as you might realize it too, right? That those methods are only for the unintelligent. You say that as if you yourself are actually intelligent. Well, I'm sure Kurita at least thinks that he is. Who would trust a guy like you that only looks down on other people? You make a very good point. You're right. Trust is very important. Kurita wags his index finger at me, acting like a college professor trying to teach a class. In order to enact change on a societal scale, you need to be able to sway public opinion. And in order to do that, you need the trust of society. Without the ability to get your message across to everyone, you cannot convince society to change their views. The Japanese Connect Organization, or JCO for short, is an independent organization under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology that was created in 2027 and in 2029 opened the Tokyo Connect Center. Kurita says the same words I heard when I first came to Connect Center and watched that video while on my way to the lounge where I talked with Sorano. We're an organization that's trusted by the government. And I'm the one who stands at its top. Is there anything more trustworthy than that? I just have to tell the authorities what you've done. Kurita just sneers condescendingly at me. Yeah, that's not gonna work. You kind of made a public declaration that we were criminals. You really think you can? Aren't you wanted by the police as suspects for breaking and entering to the Connect Center along with the explosion at the station? And besides, if you really were innocent, then isn't it strange that you didn't just go straight to the police and set things straight? I mean, we were working with some police people. That video they took is a forgery, but the fact that we illegally access Connect Center data is true. He's saying that because he already knows that. Kurita's even made use of the fact that Kakadu and I were able to escape from the Connect Center that day. Shut up! Even though I know all that, I can't stop my anger from spilling over and lashing out at Kurita. Oops, we got a little bit off track there, sorry. Let me get back to the main topic. Now then, once I'd secured a means of transmitting my message to everyone, I needed a way to convince everyone I was their ally. The Connect Center, where we would connect you with those important to you. We all will always be by your side. What do you think? Not a bad motto, right? I remember feeling disgusted when I saw that commercial the first time. Having learned about the dark motivations behind its creation, I'm even more repulsed. Letting people talk with their departed loved ones. It's almost too good to be true. Don't you think the Connect system is a truly wonderful service that brings salvation to people? Didn't you benefit from this service more than most? Most people would be jealous of what you did. A lot of people would be quite jealous if they found out what you did. Sorano had thought and talked just like the real Sorano. It really had been almost as if she'd been brought back to life. For the people who had already lost their loved ones, telling them we needed facilities to conduct medical research so that no one else has to go through the pain of losing someone as they have, so that they don't have to suffer that same pain again, was very effective. By the way, I'm sure you've already heard from Orikasa-kun, but that microchip inside you right now is developed for medical use as well. Well, yeah, it's got, like, hyper-regenerative properties. So here's a question for you. If persecution and oppression are a result of differences in individual abilities and traits, then what do you think is the best way to get rid of such unfairness? He's probably going to say give everyone that. This Connect Center has facilities to allow you to connect as well as advanced research facilities for neuroscience, biology, and other fields pertaining to medicine. So this is kind of like the part where we're all getting things explained to us. That microchip was created to accelerate the expression of the gene that accelerates healing. It was meant to be a huge breakthrough in the field of medicine. That kind of naivety will be your downfall. If you're this spineless, you don't have a chance in hell at stopping the storm to come. Man, we're like finally learning all this stuff, but it's starting to feel like feels like we're not even halfway through this game. Only one thing comes to mind when I think back to everything that's happened. But a solution like that is beyond insane. Before I can even respond, Kurita excitedly continues, speaking very fast. It's simple. We simply have to get rid of the differences. For those who haven't expressed these genes yet, we simply have to induce that gene expression. Doesn't seem like he's talking that fast. Just like what happened to you. But isn't that going to result in a lot of people dying because their bodies can't handle it? What do you think will happen to the world once this microchip is approved for practical use and is given to people in hospitals around the world? I mean, in theory, technically that would be better, but like, that's not just a simple thing. The manifestors that were a minority before will become a majority. A majority. It'll be the dawn of a wonderful new world. Kurita is facing me. His eyes aren't looking at me anymore. He's lost with his own dreams of an ideal world. Kurita's eyes sparkle with pure glee. Their eyes filled with madness. You're insane. When art surpasses a certain point, some call it madness. I'm the same. Now, if you're going to be called insane, that's a pretty good line to defend yourself with, but you're still insane, dude. You know, I really am grateful to you. The clinical data we got from you is something I've been waiting for years. It'll be the key to eliminating disparity in this world. Hearing Kurita talk reminds me of what Mikoto said before. They both agree that having unnatural powers causes you to be an outcast in society. Mikoto had said she works to help people find a way to live peacefully and coexist with others in our world. I'm not so sure if she's able to clear away all the darkness of people's hearts, but at the very least it was thanks to her that Sorano was saved. I'm sure there must be many others like Sorano who were saved by Mikoto. This guy's goal is the complete opposite of Mikoto's. He doesn't want coexistence, he wants control. And he's manipulating virtuous people to achieve that goal. Even if you eliminate the differences between people that way, your methods will only invite chaos. The start of any revolution is always preceded by a little chaos. Again, that's a pretty good line to give. For an insane guy, he's thought out his madness. This guy's well-spoken, at least. But you know, I think Japanese people at least secretly want something to control them. You're just using that as an excuse to try and justify your actions. Thinking for myself is a pain. I'm scared of doing things on my own failing. I don't want to take responsibility for things. That's why people just follow the thinking of others, imitate the actions of the masses, and pray someone else will be there to take responsibility for it all. I mean, yeah. And yet the moment they think their freedom is about to be restricted, they cry out about their rights. This guy is making legitimate points, and it's funny. Like, if he wasn't, like, a madman that had a bad plot of control, like, he'd say some decent things. They don't even realize that freedom has come with responsibilities. Don't you think that's overly selfish? There is an innate selfishness in terms of, like, what you expect versus what you, like, want. Like, people want to be, like, for example, a lot of people my age say, like, oh, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want, people don't need to control me. But then they get mad when people don't, like, remind them of things, or, like, don't hold their hand through certain processes that they're not used to. And it's like, alright, well, you said that you're an adult, and if you're old enough to be told, if you're old enough that you can gauge yourself on how much you're drinking, or, like, handle your own taxes, or whatever it is, then you're also old enough that, like, you're not going to be treated like a kid when it comes to people holding your hand through things. That really does get on my nerves about people. There are a lot of people my age who have that kind of mentality. I try really hard to not, like, express that kind of, like, I feel like that's a mistake to do, like, to be selfish like that. But it's hard to not do that. But I try really hard to not be that way. I hope that I don't come across as that way. But that's okay, I'll accept those selfish people. This is perfect for me. I'll think for them, I'll act for them, and I'll take all the responsibility. And they'll do it all in such a way that they don't even think their freedoms are being taken away. Now you're sounding like a proper madman. And then Japan will finally become a country that can stand on equal ground with other world powers. Do you want to start a war now, too? You keep seeming to misunderstand me. I don't want to start a war. Oops, my bad. If anything, I want to rule precisely so I can stop more pointless conflicts from happening. You really think everyone will be happy under your rule? So you don't then? And why not? I know I wouldn't be. Kurita seems genuinely bewildered. Let's say everyone does get superpowers. Eventually there will be discrepancies in the kind of power each person has. That discrepancy will just cause discrimination to return again, causing people to be unhappy. Nothing will have changed from before. Good point. So you're telling me you think a person's worth lies only in the merits of their power? No, I'm saying that people are going to think that. I'm taken aback at Kurita's words. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Really? But you're right, you know. Survival of the fittest is the most basic principle of this world. So in that case, don't you think this is the most natural outcome? What's so wrong about discrepancies arising because of a difference in power? Besides, it's only limited to Japan right now, but someday I want manifestors to be the majority all over the world. That's a little bit ambitious. And then the country, time or family you're born into will cease to matter. I mean, it's not like it's going to be much different. It's just going to be the same as it was, except they're going to have different powers. It'll be a fair world with a strong rule. And besides... Kurita pauses for a moment and smirks. Thanks to that power you have, you can stand on the ruler's side. I don't want to rule anything. Happiness you stole from someone else's by force is only a temporary happiness that lasts only until someone stronger steals it from you. The moment you've stolen it from someone, you constantly live in the fear of having it stolen by someone else, never having a peaceful moment of rest. Your ideal world isn't truly fair at all. So even all that isn't enough to convince you. Kurita mutters sadly and turns his back to me. After a short silence, Kurita turns around once more. He looks extremely disappointed and says in a frigid tone, "It's a shame, Kusuhara-kun. I did not want to have to do this, but you leave me with no choice." Gentlemen, please begin. Kurita raises his hand and I hear the door open. I turn my head in the direction the sound came from and gasp. Dana's standing there, flanked on both sides by researchers. Her hands are bound by some kind of metallic cuffs. The researchers push her forward and she stumbles into the room. When Dana sees me, she tries to struggle out of the researcher's grip and run towards me. But, don't move. It's Aoi-san's voice. She came in after Dana and has a gun pointed at her back. Alright, you know, nope. I need to stop this episode. I cannot handle any more of this right now. I need a break. That was actually really tense and interesting. So I am saving it. And holy cow, that was intense. Whew. Alright, now then. Oh boy, alright. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. I will always read them and I'll always take them into account. And as always, I'll see you guys next time for another episode of Memories Dogma Code 1.